So next we have the paper, starting on page 3. So talk to me about the paper here. Paragraph 1, what am I up to in paragraph 1 in this paper? My program is obviously about what? An online asthma education program, which has kind of been done, but not as research yet at this point. What am I doing in paragraph 1?
Kind of outlining what asthma is, describing different types of asthma, telling how people can manage their symptoms, and how many people in the country have asthma.
Yeah, kind of
General knowledge.
General information for those that are not familiar with the field. A lot of you are dealing with different disease states, psychopathological disease states. Epidemiology. Have we talked about that in this class? I know I've talked about that in the other class. Epidemiology is the field of population-based statistics. If you're dealing with PTSD, eating disorders, sexual disorders, and so forth, going to the CDC website and saying, this percentage of people have this disease. Just kind of general background information. In asthma, there are guidelines. Nobody follows them. Doctors don't follow them. Patients certainly don't. So we start off with a very general way of things. Can people kind of see that here? Comments or questions about that? Does that make sense? With each one of your topics, can you think about how each one of your topics, and this will not be due now, but if you choose to over Thanksgiving, you want to get this going, you certainly can. But it's kind of, paragraph 1 is general background. Do you all have a sense of, a lot of you looked up articles in your bibliography, and which articles might be pertinent in your bibliography to paragraph 1? And it doesn't need to, this is just my sample. Yours will be different, and that's fine. But which kind of articles might be relevant here? Research articles? I would say probably not research articles. What kind of articles?
Ones that define okay, this is what PTSD is.
Here's what PTSD is. Here is how many people have it. They're called prevalence and incidence. It's epidemiology. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. I do more here because I know more. If there are guidelines out in your field and you want to cite that, you can. Why do I cite that here? Because this is where I'm going. It says education. Well, we have the different levels here. So, what am I doing? Comments or questions then about the first paragraph? Does that make sense for folks? So the title of the second section. I've got titles. You'll have subsections and titles, not of the, it's kind of got the title on top there. That's probably okay as well. We'll follow APA guidelines on that. What do you think you're going to be reading? Well, you actually already read it. What did you read in the area that said asthma education programs for caregivers of children with asthma? What did I do there? What did I do in that section? Paragraph 1, what am I up to?
Why it's imperative that the caregivers are educated?
Yeah, kind of making transitions from point to point. We have guidelines. This is a really important realm. You guys know children that have asthma? Yeah, is it important that they get good care? It is. So I'm kind of setting up what I'm going to do here. It's imperative that this happens. How about paragraph 2? What's going on in paragraph 2 for me? Go ahead.
Talk about the different search engines that you use to try to find articles, peer-reviewed sources concerning AEPs.
And what was the result of that?
Mixed, interesting.
How many programs?
4.
4.
4, yeah.
There were some political reasons I had to go into this kind of detail on searching this. Hopefully your bibliography will have relevant stuff. Can you actually have some other references that you didn't have in your bibliography? Yeah, please do. You're trying to make your case for what you're trying to establish here. Do you have to say that these kind of searches were done? Probably not. You probably don't have to do that. I had to do that. That's all we'll say about that. But if you're doing a treatment program, what would be a good source? Like, is anybody in the class, do we have some people doing treatment interventions, correct? Can somebody raise their hand? Who's doing so what are our topics again here?
Eating disorder, comorbidity with OCD.
So, eating disorders, morbidity with
Comorbidity with OCD.
with OCD,
And then eating disorders, and then cognitive behavioral therapy.
cognitive behavioral therapy. One thing that might be useful to cite is a Cochrane review. If that's been done, or a meta-analysis, some higher level thing saying, here's what we think, and just citing that as here's what's been done and here's what's been documented. And then what do I do after that, after I say, here's all the things we do? The first AEP program, what am I doing in these 2 paragraphs here? What did they do and what did they find? Is that what you did with your annotated bibliography? Yep, kind of real world findings here. Do I keep doing that? The second one, they did this. Same basic idea here. Should you be doing that as well? Yeah, go specifically into what you're up to. Now, we have some people in the class, I believe, who are doing correlation regression designs. Is that correct? I don't think everybody's of the intervention nature, is it? I don't remember the different designs. 2 interventions here. Can you share with me?
No?
What was your kind of design? What was your project about?
It was the effects of homosexuality on brain composition.
So kind of, did we talk about type of statistic that'll be used?
No.
No, we did not. So we'll get into that as we go through. But it won't be an intervention design, so you will not have to do that. You'll basically be citing studies that talk about that issue. And that's kind of the way of it. Madison, how about from your end? What are you up to again?
Alzheimer's disease and the impact of therapy.
So therapy, again, kind of an intervention type of idea. So you might talk about what's been done. Bella?
I shifted my focus to epilepsy and memory.
Epilepsy and memory, and looking at the effects, not really doing an intervention. So we'll talk about that as well. You'd go through studies that documented that.
I'm doing the memory of eyewitness testimonies.
Memory of eyewitness testimony, not really an intervention, but you'll go through the literature, see if you can find a meta-analysis. It's a big topic that says this, and then start talking about studies.
Mine's the cognitive neuropsychology or intelligence, but more specifically to kind of tie cognition into it, it's cognitive processes that are supposed to happen while the arousal stages happen.
Yep.
And how cognitive behavioral therapy can help.
Yep, and the neuroscience end of that, what's the neuroscience side of that?
It's kind of the biological stuff that happens.
So your lit review will have, there are only 4 here, so that's all I cited. You guys, your section might be longer because you might have more things to say in regards to that. So that's basically what I do there. And what's my next section? What do I do at the end? here's what we found. This is kind of similar to what I wanted you to do with your with your annotated bibliography. You'll do that here in your proposal. Here's what they found. There are only 4 out there, obviously not doing things. And then current research study. Here's what I'm doing. Now, do I say, here's what I'm doing? There is an obvious need to do it. We're going to develop this in a manner similar to the face-to-face program. I go through the program and the nature of it. If it's an intervention, you'll do that. If it's not, you'll describe, the brief program description. And that's kind of the way of it. Does that make sense for folks? Okay, let me stop this recording here.